What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And I hope y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. Hope everything's going smooth. Man, we're almost making it to the weekend. So let's get over this hump day and get right into today's docket. Not a lot going on with today's docket, but I did see a few things, and I saw a couple questions that I want to ask y'all and see how y'all feel about it. But first and foremost, there's a possibility for an individual to get cut from his team. And I saw this article. It was on Bleacher Report. And the gentleman who wrote the article, Alex K., said that the Carolina Panthers should be open to signing this player. Not necessarily they need to sign this person, but they should be open and consider it. And the person they're talking about in question is actually Taesm Hill from the New Orleans Saints. So, according to rumors, he's on the verge of being cut by the Saints, and here's what Kay had to say about it. Kay says, Hill is one of the most unique players the NFL has ever seen. Since entering the league as a 27-year-old rookie in 2017, Hill has racked up nearly 3,400 yards from scrimmage and scored 44 touchdowns. He's also moonlit as a passer, posting a 63.9% completion rate with 2,369 yards and 11 touchdowns. Father time and injuries are creeping up on the tight end, but Hill has played in 16 games in 5 of 7 seasons. If he can make a successful return from his knee injury, a veteran-laden contender could benefit heavily from his do-it-all talents. And he mentioned that Carolina is one of those talents that could potentially benefit from if they decide to use them. So, obviously, that begs the question, and I know some people may ask, like, what are my thoughts on it? Y'all might not care about my thoughts, but it's okay. We all have a different opinion. And truthfully speaking, I'm actually open to the idea primarily due to his versatility. Nani? I know some of you are going to look at me like, what? You just said yesterday Jonnu Smith shouldn't be brought in as a tight end here, and now you want to bring in Taesm Hill. I know somebody's thinking that. And again, my whole basis is the fact that Taesm Hill is more versatile than Jonnu Smith, especially in a creative savvy mind of a Dave Canales. Because think about it. You have Taesm Hill. We know he's great as a tight end. We know he can block. He can catch the ball, so he's reliable there. He can run the ball if you want to just do like jet sweeps and things of that nature. And he can throw the ball. So if you want to do something tricky, like a double pass, you have a legitimate quarterback with a legitimate arm who can throw that ball with legitimate accuracy. He could be utilized quite well when you throw him alongside Bryce, Tet, Liggett, Thielen, Coker, Horn, Renfro, Trimble, Jatavian Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, Mitchell Evans. I said Horn, Renfro. If we keep David Moore, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit there and sleep on Taesm Hill at any point because he can hurt you from a multitude of ways. He's an extra runner like Rico and Chuba. He's an extra receiver just like Tet and Liggett and Thielen and Coker and all of them. He's an extra tight end to go alongside Sanders, Trimble, as well as Mitchell Evans and Gaffney. And he's an extra quarterback with Bryce and Andy Dalton. So, why not? Honestly, why not? If he gets cut and he's not asking for a lot, if he's asking for a cheap deal just to get back on another team, I see a lot of potential there. I see a lot of potential for a steal there. And not only that, it's taking from a division rival. It's taking a valued asset from a division rival and bringing him to our squad. I am all for doing so and knocking out division rivals in the process. So, yes, I would actually be more inclined and more open to signing a Taesm Hill than a Jonnu Smith just because Taesm Hill is a lot more versatile than Jonnu Smith. Now, do I think the Saints are going to cut him? Absolutely not. Unless their new head coach just doesn't want him, I genuinely don't think they will cut Taesm Hill at all. It just, because of the versatility, it wouldn't make sense. But if he is cut, I know Carolina's not going to be the only team that wants him. I know that for a fact. Carolina is not going to be the only team that wants him due to that versatility. So, yeah, I actually do kind of agree. If he's available at Carolina, just take a look at him, see what he wants, see what he's talking about. And then following that up next, because you got to look at what they're talking about, I want to look at 2026. Presumably, the contracts that are set to end in 2026, right? So, obviously, you have guys who have their contracts right now that are set to end 2026. And here's the list of those notable contracts that are set to end as of right now. As of right now, you have Icky, A'Shawn Robinson, Josie Jewell, Patrick Jones, Tommy Tremble, Michael Jackson, Andy Dalton, DJ Johnson, Zavala, and Shamar Bartholomew. Why do I feel like I mistyped, just had a typo for Zavala? Is it Chandler? Let me make sure. Because I feel like I mistyped that by accident. Is it? Yep, it's Chandler. I apologize, Zavala. That's on me. Quick typo while I was typing too fast. So that's on me. So with all that, I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, bro. If it was up to me, what would be the end goal? What would I do with each person? Like, resign, release, what's the end goal when I look at this list of people? And here's what I came up with. So obviously we have the base list of people. Here's how it looks to me. Obviously, I'm going to re-sign Icky. He's one of the star O-linemen. I actually would release A'Shawn Robinson because his contract right now is way too high, $22 million for what he's producing and where he's at on the depth chart. Just seems like overpaying for a bench warmer. I would re-sign Josie Jewell right now because he's one of the starting linebackers. If he's still there in that starting linebacker position and still performing at a solid pace, yeah. Patrick Jones, I'm only releasing him if Umami Yellen manages to surpass him on the depth chart and DJ Warnham stays ahead of him on the depth chart. That is the only reason I would release Patrick Jones. Tommy Tremble, he's a core tight end, core piece. I will definitely re-sign him. Michael Jackson, it depends on his performance. Mike Jackson depends on how he performs over this season and next season. I firmly believe that. Andy Dalton, I would resign just because he's been a great backup as well as a great mentor for Bryce. DJ Johnson, I feel as though he's falling. I don't want him to, but he's falling, and right now he's in a position where he has to earn that backup spot that he's in right now. He can be replaced, and he's got to prove why he deserves to remain on the roster. Chandler Zavala, I would resign just for more depth at the left guard position. And then Shamar Bartholomew, again, like Mike Jackson, it depends on their performance. If they perform on the field, if they end up being some great gems that we didn't realize, hey, keep them. If they don't, then not, by all means. But I'm saying that because these are core pieces that we got to look at going into the season. And I know we're looking at right now, but I'm also looking towards the future. And I think that's the direction I would move in. That's the direction I think Carolina would move in if it were up to me. But again, it's not up to me. I don't write the checks. I'm just here, guys. I'm just here, man. So let me know y'all thoughts on that. What would y'all change? What would y'all swipe up. I mean, not swipe up. What would y'all mix up, and how would you go about it? And then, thirdly, 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 we're gonna look back real quick. And social media has been asking this question, and they're like, would this switch make a difference? Would this switch have made a difference? And they're asking one pivotal question that I've seen a lot of people ask over the last couple years. But I have my answer, and y'all will hear it from me. But here's the question, guys. The question in of itself is this. Would the Carolina Panthers be Super Bowl contenders with C.J. Stroud as the QB? I'm going to be quite frank and quite honest. No. like honestly, no. We would not. I do not think Carolina would be Super Bowl contenders with C.J. Stroud. I feel we would actually be in the same situation. I've said this for years. I've said it on my personal channel. Like, the same, bringing a quarterback into the situation that we were in, it didn't matter whether we had drafted Bryce or C.J. Stroud. Whoever went to the Texans was going to a better situation, was going to a coach that had a better coaching staff, better supporting players, a better foundation than coming into Carolina that year in 2023. And a lot of people tried to say, oh, Carolina made the wrong mistake because of the way CJ balled out his first year. I didn't think that. I genuinely believe the same hate that Bryce Young got in 2023, I believe C.J. Stroud would have got that hate. And Bryce Young would have got the love that C.J. Stroud got, because Bryce Young would have played up to the level of C.J. Stroud, and C.J. Stroud would have looked like Bryce Young and played down. His numbers would not be as nice. They would not. It was all about who went where. And I genuinely think that it didn't matter what was going to happen. Whoever came to Carolina at that point in time was going to look like a bust that first year. Whoever went to Houston was going to look like the better option. Now you're going to sit there. I think this year and next year will really tell the difference. I think that'll be the way you could tell if who was the better pick. But that first year, no. That first year, I absolutely believe it. Whoever came to Carolina, you were going to look like a bust. Whoever went to Houston, you were going to look like the smarter option just because of the foundation and the better setup they had over there. If I'm being completely honest. And people are like, well, Houston was right there. What do you mean? They were just as high in the draft as y'all. Like, bro. But they had foundation and continuity. We were in disarray in every sense of the fashion. And it just wasn't good. So that's where I stand on that. And then lastly, time for y'all favorite segment. Time for Panther Nation to speak their truth, man. Time for to see what comments y'all left in the last video. And first comment that comes up from Gerald Eves 3340. Says, adding Jonnu Smith makes plenty of sense. It would make sense that the Panthers place Trimble on the PUP list IR to start the season so that he isn't rushed back after surgery. Give him the appropriate rehab. Secondly, stop with all the rumors. If you have a source from inside the organization, that's fine. Otherwise, it's just other people stirring up unfounded news. Third, the Ramsey trade makes sense as long as Miami eats up a good bit of that money. Now I'll say this. Again, I respect your opinion. I don't think the Jonnu Smith trade honestly makes sense. I don't think that signing makes sense just because you're getting him for 1 year, then you're going to have to pay him an exorbitant amount the year after that. Like, even if it is to keep Trimble on the PUP list, I don't see that as being the smart option because of what you're going to have to do in the long-term effect of it. Two, the rumors and the things about that, guys, I'm doing my best to try and I'm doing everything I can just to keep giving y'all content and to keep giving you things because not only that, a lot of what Carolina's doing is not as much right now. And a lot of this stuff is due to just rumors and hearsay and everything like that. Plus, as much as you say, oh, if it's not from the organization, it's just unfounded, that's not necessarily true. Not necessarily true because sometimes rumors and leaks do happen. And you'll be sitting there like, oh, that's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, it happens. So I just put out the information I see it comes across that I think y'all would be interested in. But let me know more stuff of what y'all really want to hear. Let me know more things that you actually want to hear me talk about aside from the rumors. I'm more than amenable. I'll gladly talk about whatever else y'all want me to talk about. And I'm just trying to find the best because I'm trying to get that feedback and we can go back and forth and do this. This way I can give y'all everything and not just what I'm thinking you're looking at. And three, Miami's not going to eat up most of that money in a trade for Ramsey regardless of who he goes to. They are definitely going to try and pawn that off as much as possible. That's the reason why they probably haven't gotten rid of him as quickly as they could have. That's just my 2 cents on that one. Next comment that comes in from King of Leo's 822, man. He said, I didn't know there was a poll. Yeah, man, yeah. Hey, so at least I know you weren't part of the results that came of that poll. If you didn't even know there was a poll, like I didn't know there was a poll, hey, it is what it is. We're going to get on the next one. How about that? Hey, me and you going to make sure we get on the next one. I'm cool with that. And then the last comment, man. Last comment comes from 704 Hop. Says, you resemble Ricky Smiley. I know I do. And these glasses do not help. So if y'all say Ricky Smiley is a Carolina Panthers fan, I know you're talking about me. Oh, man. But I think what's crazy is I was never called Ricky Smiley until I got to college. Nobody had ever said that to me until I got to college. I had never gotten that. Till then, now it is one of my nicknames that I do embrace. I know people see it all the time. Like I've had old folk, young folk, new people who met me, people who've known me a long time call me Ricky. I don't get upset about it. I just embrace it, laugh, and keep it pushing. But guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can always be notified of when these videos drop. Next, comment below and let me know y'all thoughts. Would y'all want Taesm Hill to be signed to the Carolina Panthers if he becomes available? How would you handle the contracts that are set to end in 2026? And 3, looking back, do you think C.J. Stroud would have made us Super Bowl contenders? And 4, honestly, let me know what are some things y'all really want to hear me talk about. Like, what are some other things? Because I'm trying to gauge what y'all like and what y'all don't like, what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. I'm trying to do my best. And I know the rumors, sometimes they can become overwhelming, but I'm here for y'all. I love y'all genuinely, and I just want to give y'all the best content I can. But I'm doing all that. I'm rambling. And with all that being said, guys, hey, let me know everything because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all of you, Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.